Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It doesn't matter where you're listening in from. Welcome to the Growth Edge by the Africa MSME Collective. Now, we're here to help you as a business owner set up, stabilize, scale, and succeed sustainably because 95% of all employment is created by MSMEs. And that when you stabilize the MSME sector, you do stabilize the economy. That's our focus as the African MSME Collective. We're here in this space to support either the MSMEs directly or to work with ESOs, who are the enterprise support organizations who support MSMEs. The reality is in Africa, we need a lot more internal support. We need a lot more partnership. We need a lot more collaboration so we get to a place where we're all speaking the same language. And that is why we're here. On this episode of The Growth Edge, which is a place where we give you actionable steps that you can apply today for impact tomorrow, we shall be talking about accountability. That big word that many of us don't like as MSME leaders because it means somebody can question us and ask us what we're doing. So as always, my name is Kyesubire Greg, and I'm co-founder for marketing and product development at the African MSME Collective. I'm also the lead storyteller at Akiko Stories, and we're in partnership on a couple of our shows. We have this show, The Growth Edge. We have a 360-degree brand story that we do with Akiko. And then we have the AFCFTA files on the Africa MSME Collective channel, because we do everything about small businesses. So if you're interested, please be sure to follow the channel, subscribe, and as you watch every video, like, comment, and ask questions in the comment section. I will be sure to respond to them. But as always, on the hot seat, like he likes to tell me when he's interviewing other people, we have my partner from the Africa MSME Collective. Welcome, Joe, and let us know a little bit about yourself.
Did you say hot seat?
Yes, hot seat.
You know it is raining. It's pouring heavily in Nairobi, but it's good then to be seated on a hot seat. Maybe the rain will cool down the hot seat. Thank you very much, Kyesubire. I am Joe Mukoko, co-founder, African MSME Collective. And in this space, I take care of business development and partnerships. So I'm happy to be here this evening. I'm also the team lead at Hack Integrated Services, where we work with SMEs to develop profitable and sustainable business models. So everything fits into the picture. Everything that we are doing here fits into the picture. I love having conversations about SMEs because some of the challenges they face are the challenges we have faced. Our hairs are black, yeah? Right, yes. But we have tasted a bit of salt and a bit of water and hardened by SME. I know they normally say in Kenya, one of the quickest ways to die or 1,000 ways to die is to run a business, but it is also one of the most fulfilling. You might not move as fast as you would like to move, but it gives you an opportunity to always iterate and learn. Learn from your fellow SMEs, learn from your own experiences, and learn from others and the stories that others share. So thank you, Kyesubire, and thank you for having me on the hot seat today.
So let's talk about a topic that I know is close to your heart. Accountability. Every leader needs to be accountable. But what do you define accountability as? What do we define it as in this AMC space?
Accountability is a big word. I hear them throwing it to politicians. You have to be accountable to the people. The people say you have to be accountable. Employers tell employees you have to be accountable. So in the space of the SME world, accountability simply means the willingness to accept responsibility for your journey, responsibility for your actions. And when things don't go well, I know sometimes we like sugarcoating. The other week I was watching a clip where they were saying There's no business person who's coming to tell us how they've entered the hole. They're only showing us the good part. Well, it's good. Let them show you the good part. But it is the willingness to take responsibility for your journey and responsibility for your actions. Your journey stems from your actions. Your actions stem from your habits. Your habits stem from culture and what it is that you would like to do. So that's how we define accountability in the space of the SME world.
So if I hear you right, Joe, what you're saying is we have to be willing to not only stand by our actions, but allow others to watch over us as we make these actions.
Yes, Kyesubire. You see, for example, allow me to use you as an example, or your situation as an example. Who is a visionary at Akiko Stories?
Me.
The rest of the team, all of us, when we partner and we come, we are under you, right?
Yes.
If things go well, who receives the accolade?
Me.
You. If things don't go well, what's the opposite of accolade? That one. When things don't go well, who is in trouble?
Me.
You see, if for example, if the team does something wrong in the field, let's say you've given them an assignment, the assignment is not done to standards, automatically it is it's related to you. The relation is done between you, Akiko, you and Akiko. Now, your team is removed. If there is resolution that needs to be done, if a client, yes, the team will resolve the issue with the client, but if the client gets a note from you, what happens?
They jump into action.
And the issue is resolved. Client is, yay, Akiko Stories listened to me. Same thing if comes to me. Like now it is in Kenya, the season of doing returns and everything. And clients expect that to be done. Now, I have a team that sorts out entrepreneurs. That's not their problem. The problem is, has your team done what it was supposed to do? Period. So it's important then, because we are picking the fruits, we have to weed out, we have to prune, and we have to accept to be pruned. Why? We don't know everything. That's why we have teams. That's why we have stakeholders.
I like that, accept to be pruned, because then it speaks to the value of accountability, which what I'm hearing you say is it holds us accountable for our growth and it holds us accountable for our movement. But are there like 2 or 3 other things that we could add to the value of accountability?
The first one is focus. Remember, we get into business with an objective.
Yes.
What outcomes do we desire for 2024, for example? Or what outcomes do I desire for 2025? Now, when I have someone else working with me and periodically checking up on me and asking, hey, where are you? Not where are you in terms of physically, but where are you in terms of your business journey? At the beginning of the year, we had a conversation and you said you would like to do 101 things. Out of those 101 things, quarter one has just ended, we're in quarter two. How is it looking for you? What are the challenges that you're having now? that journey with the person next to you helps you maintain focus. In whichever form it will come, helps you maintain focus. And when you feel like you're getting lost, you see, you have an opportunity to ask for help and say, I'm trying to think this through. This is where I would like to be, but I'm not getting there. How do I get there? That is one. Secondly, we've just discussed about when things don't go so well. And when things don't go so well, sometimes we are working with teams.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges that leaders face is developing teams that can keep on producing the outcomes that they desire. Self-awareness means that you as a leader have to be empathetic to your team when they're doing good and when they're not doing good. When they're doing good, be able to pick out what are the things that are making this team perform. How do you sit with them? And when you sit with them, how can you be creative enough to make sure that you move closer to your goals? And when things are not going well, be able to sit with them and wear their shoes. Of course, if you have a big team, you cannot wear 100 pairs of shoes at the same time, but just step into their shoes and figure out what are the challenges, what is making them not deliver. Why can't we get this outcome yet? We have this team in place. That is the second one. Third, you're able to hit your targets. You maintain your focus, you work with your team, you hit your targets. And if you can't hit your targets, then it gives you an opportunity to sit back and work with your accountability partner to figure out where the gaps are. What do you need? Do you need extra muscle? Do you need water? Are you tired? Do you need to rest? How do you get your creative juices flowing for you to keep on churning those stories every day? For example, okay? Or like, if I'm producing bread, our target is supposed to be 10,000 loaves sold. We are producing the 10,000 loaves of bread, but every day we are not able to sell the 10,000 loaves of bread. What is the challenge? Now, that will help you. And then lastly, you had talked about it, growth as an individual. All these experiences put together shape you and mold you.
Yes.
I was in a forum and I was telling some individuals I got at the height of my business drama. One of my business dramas, my main stories, you know, the ones of the pineapple, the potatoes, the ice. So at the height of the gas one, that is when I started appreciating the value of having an accountability partner. And I had this grand idea and I thought that this was it. And they gently showed me how off the path I was. And if I was to recover, what I needed to do. So it's important. Focus, empathy, hit your targets, and then growth as an individual.
So that makes it very interesting, because then it means that accountability helps us to be holistic entrepreneurs. It helps us to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, to be really stable. That's really profound. And I'll tell you why that's profound. It's profound because when we say the average MSME, 75% of them die before their 7th birthday, most by their 5th birthday. the most common story we hear is that where it was hard. I didn't think it would be so hard. So it makes me think there is information that is out there, but it's not passing between the different generations of business owners. And generations, I'm not even counting it in terms of age sets. I'm counting in terms of the number of years people have been in business. So if I've been around for 28 years, have I told the truth of what I've been through? Have I sugarcoated it? So that then the 1.5 years thinks, she had a smooth 28 years ride. So why is my life difficult? So it takes me to the next thing I want to ask you about, which is the forms of accountability. One of the forms I'm hearing you talk about, well, not loudly, but I can kind of hear you refer to it, is your team. Because when you give your team targets, as the business owner, so not even you, when I give my team targets as a business owner, I should also have my own set of targets so that we can come and sit together. I met a gentleman maybe 2 years ago in a training, and he had this really intricate Google sheet open. And I asked him what he's doing, and he said, "Oh, I'm just looking at people's targets for today." I'm like, "Well, why?" Like, because everybody, including me, has a daily target to meet so that we can meet our monthly targets, which makes us meet our quarterly targets, which helps us meet our annual targets. So one of the forms of accountability is the team. But what other forms exist that would help any entrepreneur find the stability they're looking for?
Thank you, Kyesubire. You've mentioned a very profound bit of the accountability journey. We learn from our elders, we learn from our peers, we learn from our juniors, and we learn from our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Elders have the presence of wisdom in terms of experience and age. And sometimes wisdom of age is not even in terms of age at like you and I and our age. You might find that there's someone who started entrepreneurship early and has been there for quite a while, battle hardened, went through the 2008 economic drama, has fought through the cyclic nature of our elections, and they're still existing, and their businesses are still running. There's a lot to learn from them. Then our peers. How do we exchange information? And away from the glare of the camera, how do we put out what is disturbing us and seek for help from our peers? And then from our juniors, what can we learn when we look at them and ask for innovation and creativity to come from their end? It's a challenge, and maybe they have a better way of handling a task.
Maybe.
And it's a way that would sort out your issues.
Yeah.
And then from friends, share, get 1 or 2 people who you can talk to, and people who will not only be able to refer you in spaces, but can also point you sometimes to the direction you'd like to go. Allow me to give you an example. One of our very close friends started baking cakes in our chama. And the cakes were just for the chama. And then the chama people would take the cakes and eat with their friends. And then the friends and family would ask, where has this cake come from? And then they'll be told it came from, do you think she can make for us? And then slowly she started taking those orders. Slowly, they opened a small bakery. Then it kept on expanding. And because of friends, the business was able to grow. You'll find people speaking in spaces. So happens also in our spaces. Sometimes you find a a friend referred you to people who you didn't even know, and you're told, hey, there is a function. Would you like to moderate, or would you like to feature in the panel? I was told you're an excellent moderator. And we pick these things and we are able to run with them.
Yeah.
So yes, we learn from our elders, from our peers, from our juniors, and from our friends.
Mm-hmm. Elders, peers, juniors, friends, and teams. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So last question I have from you. So what would you say are common ways we now access the wisdom from these four portals? I know one of the big ones is partnership, which means just like working together. So maybe we agree that every time I find a job for business development, I don't give it away. I take the work and I give it to you, and then we're able to work together, or we are executing projects together and we have common goals. But how else can we implement accountability?
You don't give it to me, we do the job together. That is partnership. If you give it to me, it means you have just left me stranded and then you've walked away. But it is okay, we are here. So,
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, we work on it together.
exactly. So, elders, peers, juniors, friends, and teams. There are three key ways for SMEs to break down the relationship with these teams. One, you have mentioned partnerships.
Mhm.
Secondly, there is mentorship,
Mhm.
which is key. And
Mm.
the good thing about a mentor is that they will speak about you in spaces that you're not present, and even point you to the direction that you would like to go, and listen to you and share their experiences so that you might learn. For example, last year when we did the Ongoza conversation with you, and I talked about my potato story,
Mm.
I didn't realize there were very many SME owners who were in the room going through the story, and they didn't even want to ask a question during the conversation. They were quiet. And later on, they reached out, they said, I have learned from your experience. I was in this exact same situation, but I didn't want to raise my hand in the room because people know I have it together. People know I have it together. And I said, it's
None of
okay.
us really had it together.
Keep on having it together. Don't fail to have it together. But sometimes things don't work the way we want them to work, the way we expect them to work. So maybe get a mentor. Alternatively, the third way is to get a coach. And you see, a coach will ask you the hard questions that the mentor will not ask you.
Mhm.
Because the coach is supposed to draw, ask those thought-provoking questions that will, like I said again, today we are using Akiko stories. Get the creative juices flowing so that you can churn out stories.
Mm.
Those are three ways that we can look at it. You have your elders, your peers, your juniors, your friends, your teams. How do you want the accountability to work? Remember, it is willingness to take charge of your journey and willingness to be responsible for your actions.
I like that, the willingness to take charge and then the willingness to be responsible.
At the end of the day, if we go to, for example, like even in AMC, if you go to the government documents, whose names are on the documents? The founders.
Yeah.
In the event of an issue, before the government even comes to the teams, the government first comes to the founders and says, can we have a conversation?
Yeah.
So there has to be that willingness. And what I normally tell SME owners, willingness to accept responsibility for your actions does not take away from you who you are, because there is a business and there is you. You tried, it didn't work. It's okay. It does not mean you're not the one who worked. It is the idea that didn't work or the business that didn't work. But now here you have an opportunity to work with people who will help you make sure that it is working. Thank you.
I think that's a perfect place to end, because we sit on the space of willingness. Accountability is a voluntary action. Nobody can force you to be accountable to anybody. As a business leader, you must choose. You must see there is a challenge. You must be willing to make a change. And then you must choose to connect with somebody who can help you, which allows us then as business owners to learn to ask for help. And that's one thing that is so, for most of us in the MSME space, we feel like we must show that we know everything. I relate it to like having a child. When you have a child, it's easy to want to show your child you know everything. One day they'll discover you knew nothing. And they'll be like, Allah, my parents are not as wise as I thought they were. You will burst their bubbles. So what I've learned to do with the young people that I serve with is, when I don't know, I don't know. And what that has done for us as a community, it has allowed us to learn together. Like in that space of learning together, you will find with your teams, there are some people who will be distinctively disappointed that you don't know everything. But there are others who will come and rise to the occasion and teach you something new and put a new challenge in the system and push the organization forward. So Joe, what would be your parting shot in relation to accountability and the SME business owner?
Ask for help. It will not make you less of a person. It will make you a better person. Help will enable you to maintain your focus, to develop your empathetic skills, to meet your targets, and to grow as an individual. It will not make you less of a person. It will make you a better person. The wisdom you get from the partnership, the mentorship, or the coaching arrangement from your elders, your peers, your juniors, and friends, plus teams, will make the community that you serve derive more value from you. Be willing to accept help. Thank you.
You have had it from Joe. Be willing to accept help. And I would say build your community by accountability, because that keeps you on track. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Joe, for all the insights you have shared. Once again, this is the African MSME Collective, where we help MSMEs start, set up, stabilize, and build for sustainable success. If you have a question, please feel free to put in the comment section. If you have an insight, something changed in your mind as you listen to us, please share it with us. We want to hear the stories you have. We want to know the challenges you're going through. We want to know what topics you want us to cover. But most of all, we would like to know how each of these conversations has helped you adapt something in your running your business. On that note, we say good evening, goodbye, au revoir, kwaheri ya kuonana, and see you at the next conversation, where we'll still be talking about leadership, because leadership is big. But what I want you to do is go home and remember, asking for help does not diminish you. It gives you access to the tools you need for success. So choose this day, choose to be accountable. And accountability will change your fortunes and get you closer to your goals faster. So if you have a mentor you haven't talked to in a while, give them a call. If you once upon a time had a coach and your relationship ended because you didn't reach out to them, give them a call. But remember, your growth is your responsibility. So you must reach out and remain faithful to the cause. From us at AMC, it's bye-bye, au revoir. We shall see you at the next one.
Bye-bye. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon from wherever you're watching from. Thank you.